Embark on a cruise can be an excellent option for visiting the European continent for the first time, or the 10th, especially if you consider what you would spend on transportation, hotels, and food on a conventional trip. Basically, on a cruise, you are traveling in the comfort of your hotel, without having to worry about packing and unpacking, or with most amenities, such as swimming pools, shows, and food, as they are mainly included in your package. And with the added advantage of waking up every day in a different place or country. Join me in this episode to explore some of the secrets and attractions of the first port of this journey, the amazing Barcelona. But before you board, I have a question for you. If you have ever been on a cruise, what was your favorite trip? And if not yet, which would be your dream destination? Leave your answers in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell to be notified of the new videos. Hi there, my name is Horton Novak. Great to have you here. Our cruise is about to set sail. In August 2017, I embarked on the Brilliance of the Seas, a Royal Caribbean ship, for what became an unforgettable voyage across the Mediterranean. Leaving from Barcelona and visiting Nice in France, the Principality of Monaco, several ports and cities in Italy, including Rome and Venice, and then Kotor, Montenegro's capital, before returning back to Barcelona. I couldn't be more excited. After all, I was about to visit for the first time the cradle of modern civilization. Ancient cities, flooded with thousands of years of history and art. Places and things that I had only seen in books and movies. But let's start things at the beginning. In this case, reaching the cruise's departing city, Barcelona. Unfortunately, most of us are not lucky enough to live in or near a port city. And because of that, boarding a European cruise entails spending some time on a plane. Very often, a long time. And here's my first tip. Try to arrive early at the port city, at least 1 or 2 days before your cruise is scheduled to depart. Firstly, because after such a long journey, why waste an excellent opportunity to explore or revisit such a distant place? And secondly, but even more pressing, because unexpected events happen, and you don't want to start your holidays stressed out, or even worse, missing your cruise entirely because of a delay in your flight. And that was what almost happened on this trip with a nowadays couple of friends from the United States. Due to a series of changes and delays in their flights, they arrived at Barcelona port with only minutes to spare, and worse, without anything in their hands but 2 backpacks that they had hand-carried in the plane's cabin. All their remaining luggage was misplaced by the airline. Believe me, no one wants to embark on a cruise that was supposed to be pleasant and relaxing, to spend 24 hours a day worrying about lost bags, wondering if they will arrive intact or arrive at all at the next port. Or even worse, and quite embarrassing, I must say, figuring out what to wear during a formal dinner or even to go to the pool. For this lucky couple, the bags were found and finally arrived at our stop in Civitavecchia, 4 days after the cruise began. And they had to make it do with what they could buy in the ship souvenir stores or ports during that time. But this is a story for another time. Cautious, I arrived in Barcelona 2 days before the cruise sail date, which for me at that point was plenty of time. To be quite honest, I was about to visit Venice, Florence, and Rome. I didn't have many expectations or even had done much research on the Spanish city. However, underestimating a city was a mistake that I learned to do not make in the future. Surprisingly, I ended up being very lucky, because Barcelona turned out to be extremely inviting and an easy city to navigate. A vibrant place where hundreds of years of history dwell in harmony with all the modernities of a big metropolis. packed with so many attractions that not even a week would be enough to explore. What has become an excellent excuse to plan a new visit? Barcelona is a unique city and has become one of my favorite places on earth. Walking around Barcelona, it's impossible not to notice that architecture and art seem to go hand in hand and have a central focus in every corner of the city. It is probably a result of all of today's famous artists who have lived or passed through Barcelona, imprinting their marks through the city, not only on walls and murals, but also on the pavement of one of its most famous streets, the iconic Las Ramblas. Las Ramblas is a bustling three-lined pedestrian street that stretches for almost 2 kilometers, connecting the Plaza de Catalunya square and its beautiful fountains and sculptures in the city center with Christopher Columbus monument by the sea at Porto Vell. The street also serves as a boundary between the Gothic District and the Arrabal. Day or night, the street is constantly swarming with tourists, attracted by street performers, bars, cafes, and restaurants scattered through its length. La Boqueria is one of the most popular places at Las Ramblas. The huge market was officially opened to the public in 1853. And today, one can find everything from fruits and vegetables to the finest local cuisine and dozens of stalls and small restaurants within the premises. La Boqueria is a unique experience in Barcelona and an excellent opportunity to enjoy some tasty Catalan specialties. Another tip: Barcelona is a very safe city. Still, while in Las Ramblas or other crowded areas, keep an eye on your belongings. Those places are famous for pickpockets, taking advantage of distracted tourists. Keep an eye on your belongings, but don't miss the chance to explore the medieval streets of the Gothic District. It's almost like going back in time, especially if you visit the area early in the morning before the place has been invaded by tourists. Barcelona began as a Roman city in the 1st century BC, called Basílica. As remnants of the wall that protected the city, many buildings of that time can still be seen on the outskirts of the city historic center today. However, the Gothic District has many other attractions and surprises in the web of its medieval alleyways. From a large concentration of medieval churches to some of the most famous museums in Barcelona, there is always something new to discover and enjoy in this area. Some of the most popular attractions in the area are the Cathedral of the Holy Cross and Santa Eulalia, most known as the Cathedral of Barcelona. It is a beautiful Gothic cathedral, built between the 13th and 15th centuries and dedicated to Santa Eulalia, the co-patron saint of Barcelona. Plaza del Rei or King Square. The area houses several medieval buildings, including the Royal Palace, the Royal Chapel of Santa Ágata, the King Martin's Watchtower, and the MUHBA, the Museum of History and Archaeology of Barcelona, where you can visit the ruins of the old Roman city that have been excavated beneath the medieval buildings in the area. Basílica of St. Mary of the Sea is a 14th century medieval church and an outstanding example of the medieval Catalan Gothic style. Beautiful displayed on its west facade, adorned with a lavish rose window framed by 2 sizable octagonal bell towers. Picasso Museum. Despite not being located exactly in the Gothic quarter, but at one of its surrounding streets, the museum is a must-see for art lovers. It was established in 5 adjoining medieval palaces and opened to the public in March of 1963. It counts with a vast collection, mostly drawings and studies of a young Picasso at the beginning of his career. However, Barcelona wouldn't be today's fantastic city without the influence of one of its most illustrious citizens, Antônio Gaudi, an architect with ideas far ahead of his time and unusual creations that had changed the Catalan city landscape forever. While strolling around the city, we will definitely come across Gaudi's work. His buildings and designs are scattered all over the city and are extremely popular with tourists. Some of his most well-known and popular creations are Casa Batló and Casa Mila, better known as La Pedrera. Both constructions were originally residential buildings. Casa Batló is now a museum, but Casa Mila, even though open for visitation, is still a residential building to this day. Casa Batló is originally a building from 1870 that was entirely altered by Gaudi, in a mixture of his naturalistic style, which explored natural forms present in nature, with Art Nouveau, that was extremely popular in the 1800s, resulting in a regular construction, evaded of square angles, which often resembles bones or animals. The structure seems to be almost alive, and this impression intensifies with countless details, created in colorful mosaics that make certain areas resemble large animals, especially reptiles that seem to be slithering through the building's common areas. Unlike Casa Batló, Casa Mila was entirely designed and built by Gaudi. Due to its massive structure, most monochromatic exterior, and unique style, repleted of organic shapes and accentuated curves, the building is most known today by its nickname, La Pedrera, or the Quarry. The building design, including its interior, was so unusual that Gaudi had to create unique furniture and objects, especially designed as pieces of a puzzle, to fit properly in the rooms that basically lacked straight walls. In this project, Gaudi imprinted his design aesthetics in almost everything in the building, including door handles and the pattern designs of the ceramic floors. If you visit La Pedrera, be sure to explore the rooftop terrace, and don't be surprised if you notice something very familiar. George Lucas used the building's intricate chimneys as inspiration to create the Stormtroopers and Star Wars. The Park Guell is another one of Gaudi's most popular projects. With urbanization in mind, Countess Abigail assigned the project to the architects in the 1900s. They aspired to create a self-contained village in the middle of a park. Although the project has never been finalized, the area has several buildings and projects that were created by the artist, including the massive structure at the complex entrance, designed to be the local market, clearly Gaudi's naturalist take on a Greek temple. The large terrace, surrounded by a bench in a sea serpent shape, colorful sculptures, mosaics, and beautiful gardens. The park was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1984. However, Gaudi's most recognized and visited project is unquestionably the whimsical Basílica de la Sagrada Familia, or Basílica of the Holy Family, which has been under construction for more than 130 years. The monumental work began in 1882 and is scheduled to reach its end in 2026, in celebration of the centenary of Gaudi's death. One can spend hours observing and taking in the symbolism and beauty of the intricate sculptures, towers, and frescoes that cover every inch of the basilica exterior. But visiting its interior is an almost celestial experience. It is like being in the middle of a forest, surrounded by gigantic petrified trees and enveloped by a heavenly light, which filtered through the enormous stained glass windows floats the nave of the basilica with colors and reflections that seem to be in constant motion. Unmissable. Curiosity. If you're a fan of Dan Brown's books and read Origins, you will recognize places like the Sagrada Familia and La Pedrera that were described in details by the author, despite, well, certain creative freedoms. But keep in mind that those attractions are extremely popular with tourists. As I mentioned before, some are actual residences, so tickets and visiting hours are limited and sell out quickly. It is a good idea to schedule your visit before heading to the attractions to avoid disappointments or long queues. You can buy tickets or even book a tour at one of the many tourist centers scattered through the city, at the reception of your hotel, by visiting the attractions websites or using apps on your devices. I will add for your reference some of my favorite links in the description below. Another great option to explore Barcelona, as many other European cities, is to get a pass and take the hop-on-hop-off bus. You can buy a single or multiple days ticket. The bus has 2, some companies 3 routes, that interconnect in key points of the city. You can get off at any of the stops, explore the area, and when you're done, take the next bus to resume exploring Barcelona's districts. The bus also offers a GPS-enabled pre-recorded guide in dozens of languages and maps of the areas and attractions near each stop. And your ticket includes free internet on the bus that you can use to connect with family and friends back at home or to upload your latest travel pictures to social media. Whoa, time flies! I think that's all I have for today. Join me in the next video of this series to check the embarkation day and the tips for the next port on the trip, Nice in France, from where we will visit Monaco, Monte Carlo and Azy, a medieval village on the top of the mountains. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give your like, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to receive notifications of new videos. See you soon!